Hi everybody, this week coming up on the podcast we will be discussing Star Wars prequels, episode 1, episode 2, episode 3, the Padme slash Amidala story arc mainly for Tyler, and we will also be discussing Rogue One. That is the other one that we've thrown in to the mix. Most podcasts would do this on May the 4th or somewhere near that date. Not us. We shall do it now when it takes our fancy. So I was going to be discussing Star Wars this week on the video, my own personal relationship with the prequels particularly, and a couple of cinema related anecdotes. But I'm not now. I'm going to save that stuff for the podcast, and hope you're listening and enjoy. What I am going to discuss is the fact that everyone is ready for another trip to the danger zone, because Top Gun is a cheesy homoerotic classic, and Top Gun Maverick has been getting great reviews across the board. It is one that I think a lot of people are looking forward to seeing. I know a lot of people are looking forward to seeing it, and it brings up a couple of things that I wanted to discuss. Recently, there are two quotes or moments from Tom Cruise that caught the attention of some people commenting. One was him getting angry at people who were close around the monitor without masks on, and he was making the point that, he didn't want the production shut down. It costs a lot of money. It's an industry. He's looking after his part in that industry and wanting workers and families of workers, and the whole way it branches out, he's thinking of all that. So that was his rant, and I thought that was fair enough. A lot of people were busy mocking him for shouting, getting angry at people who were just caught not wearing their masks, but there is a lot on his shoulders for these big projects that he attaches his names to. Secondly, just recently, Tom Cruise is doing the PR for Top Gun Maverick and says that he does films, for the cinema experience and not for the streaming experience. I never actually heard him really dismiss streaming as an option, and the fact that streaming has led to so much immediate accessibility for so many people is a great thing. But it is also a great thing that there are people who care about the cinema experience. I love the cinema experience when I can have it, but it is determined a lot of the time by who else is in the cinema with you. So the cinema experience can be very good or very bad depending on how the audience is at the film. But I don't think there's any problem with movie stars still wanting to strive to provide the big screen cinema experience. Now, that's not to say that you or I or anyone, may always get to the cinema to see these films or want to go to the cinema to see these films, but they are made for the big screen, for a reason when it comes to the spectacle, when it comes to the sound, and it comes to the blockbuster aspect. So I don't see anything wrong with these comments here either. But then it got me thinking about Tom Cruise, who, he remains one of the biggest American movie stars on the planet. Possibly still the biggest. Certainly if you take away anyone that's attached to a Star Wars movie or Marvel movies, it becomes a very, very sort of shallow pool of people who would then still command that sort of blockbuster listing presence. And Cruise has been doing this for decades now. I was going to pull out all of my different Tom Cruise movies that I like, and I had Top Gun there already, Edge of Tomorrow. The Mission Impossible movies are obvious. They just seem to get better and better at the moment. I really like The Mummy. I get that it's not right to do it as a Tom Cruise vehicle, but it was fun anyway. And then you've got Rain Man, where Dustin Hoffman got all the praise, but Tom Cruise was giving a really good performance. Obviously, Jerry Maguire. You've got smaller films that are forgotten by a lot of people, like Oblivion, which I still kind of enjoyed. And you've got just such a variety in his body of work, and yet every time he appears, he is movie superstar Tom Cruise. And I think that's a good thing. I think we should still value movie stars who don't have to be attached to every big blockbuster franchise or get a profile built up that way. I think, and it's a good thing. I still think, you know, we can laugh at him for jumping on sofas years ago and his general ongoing Scientology belief. But then again, we could do that with people who believe in all sorts of things. So I'm still a Tom Cruise fan, even if he always has to have a scene where he runs like that. But he's a movie star. I think that's great. Speaking of movie stars, the reason I specified that Tom Cruise is probably the biggest American movie star is UK people on Netflix. There is a film that recently dropped called RRR. I believe that is the title. I've not got around to it yet, but it's about 3 hours long, and it has been highly recommended by everyone that has seen it. If you don't mind watching subtitled movies that are about 3 hours long, do check it out. I think it is the subtitled Hindi version of the movie, so it may be a little bit dubbed and subbed, but it is a way to see that film, and it is supposed to be really, really sort of awesome blockbuster awesomeness as well, just in a very different way. So ending with a recommendation, been bringing up Tom Cruise, mentioned Star Wars, video done. Have a good time.